The NFL is on EA Sports, and we are in Silicon Valley at Levi's Stadium in Santa Clara. The scene a short time ago, this crowd, they love their 49ers, and they were in full roar as their guys burst out of the locker room. And we're ready for football as the 49ers get set to do battle with the Atlanta Falcons. Here's Bosher to kick it away. This fielded a few yards into the end zone. And he'll take this up past the 20 and down at the 22-yard line.
Right. He's tight right here. He's tight on the right.
Here we go. Wait, 80!
We got four down.
Say hot!
On first down, Garoppolo. He's just going to dump this one off to his fullback out of the backfield. And he's got it past the 30 before he's hit and dropped. A gain of 11 to kick off the drive. It's a quick first down. So they'll come up first and 10 now from the 33.
Here we go. Wait, 80!
45. Mike, 45.
21.
Now the Georgia Southern man, it's Matt Breida. And the hole closes quickly. He gets it across the 35 to the 36-yard line. Up from his linebacker spot, Deion Jones making the play.
Yeah, baby. Boom! Strong right.
Black!
Four down.
White.
Check Mike 45.
This is Breida. And unable to get downhill there as he'll take this up to about the 37. Just a gain of a yard there, and now it'll be third down.
Well, they had that one sniffed out. Excellent run blitz. Stop that one for a short gain.
What makes a good run blitz a good run blitz?
The ability to stay on task, to follow up your assignment, go to the gap you're supposed to cover, and not be deterred by anything else.
And a stoppage here, a timeout before this third down play takes place. They'll have 2 remaining as we step aside here in this first quarter.
Even. 4 down. Even.
Say hot!
Check. 45's the Mike.
Throwing his Garoppolo on third down. And the Falcons get there. The Falcons get the sack. Down he goes. Man, he got in there so quickly, Charles. What could the offense have done to adjust and account for that?
But what you're hoping is that you figure out, you see, and get a clue that maybe there's going to be some pressure coming at you, and you change the blocking schemes. Maybe you go to max protection. The biggest ones, maybe you bring your running back in to try and keep you clean. But in that case, that didn't happen. 0 accountability, and a sack resulted.
21 yards. Well done on the return. And the Falcons will be taking over first and 10. Ryan will bring the Falcons up now first and 10 at their own 26.
11! Let's go!
They'll run for the first time with Devontae Freeman. Space to maneuver at the 40. And finally marked down at the 42-yard line. That one good for 33 and a first.
But he doesn't at a high level, doesn't he? Because when I watch him, I think of his vision. Straight ahead, peripheral, also has that sense of where holes are going to be before they actually open. I think that helps set him apart from many of the other backs in the league.
Just a 1-yard pickup on the play, and that'll make this a 2nd down. Alongside Charles Davis, Brandon Gaudin, it's the Falcons in possession to begin quarter number 2. They've got a 2nd and 9 to start things out.
Please refer to professional signings for specific locations.
Now the pitch to Freeman. Freeman with a fast feet. So a nice job to break the 1 tackle, but not much daylight after that as he's brought down. Give him 3 on the run there. Now they're looking at a 3rd and about 5.
Gun. On!
Here we go, D. Get off the field.
Hey, wait. Hey, gun. Here we go!
Now Ryan. And incomplete. The contact made the ball roam free and brings up 4th down. Seems like this defense, especially the secondary, has really been contesting about every throw in this first half.
Remind me of a good half-court defensive basketball team. Every time a pass is thrown, they're right there in good defensive position, able to affect the play.
And no move to get the offense off the field. They're going on 4th and 5.
Tight end right.
12! Gun! Look out!
They'll try and throw for him with Ryan. And that is going to be incomplete. Dan Quinn's guys unable to come through there on 4th down. And the 49ers are going to get the football back. Well, the upcoming Super Bowl, so many storylines, but one that obviously grabs you. Sean McVay just turned 33 January 24th, the youngest coach ever to take a team to the Super Bowl. Double that age for Bill Belichick, who's 66. And, Charles, that's the largest gap between coaches in Super Bowl history.
Yeah, when you think about it, obviously the age comes into play. But to me, it's more the experience. The number of times that the Patriots have gone to the Super Bowl with Belichick leading them versus Sean McVay's first time in the Super Bowl leading the Rams. Will that game experience come into play at all? But I do like this about Sean McVay. Raised in the game, raised up through the NFL system, no matter how young he might be. Remember, his grandfather was a head coach and a GM in the league. He gets it. He understands. I highly expect the moment to be just fine for him and not too big.
2 minutes remain in a scoreless first half. Back to more NFL action on EA Sports after this.
Flag!
Watch the blood. Motion.
Here we go. Wait, 80!
Light 42.
On 2nd down, here's Garoppolo. Looking for Garcon, and it's intercepted. He's picked off at his own 47, and they'll set up shop in enemy territory at the 45-yard line. This is Freeman on 1st and 10. And brought down, but able to get it to their 30-yard line. A good gain of 14 there, and it moves to James. His first carry of their 2nd drive, pretty solid. And, of course, remember back to their first drive, really strong throughout that one.
Not only is he getting good blocking up front, but how about his vision to find the holes? And he's seeing things before they even open and hurtling through them.
Freeman again, a 1st down carry. And they'll get this one down to about the 20-yard line. Give him 11 yards that time and a new set of downs. Well, he's broken off some big-time runs here in this first half.
Yeah, and let's just face it, when you go into a game, you think you've got the plays that are going to work, but when you actually get out there and they're starting to happen, your confidence rises, and he's running with terrific ability right now.
Kill.
Freeman. And able to push his way forward here for a good little gain.
3 down. 3 down.
It's a pickup of 4, and it'll bring up second down.
On any running play that's called, they're always hoping that it's going to break big and go the distance. But when you get a nice gain like that, you're able to do so many things anyway. You can come back and run essentially the same play again, continue to move the ball on the ground, or you can decide to throw the ball now because usually you have the defense back on its heels.
54, south.
Alert.
Ready. Blue 80. 11.
Slam. Slam.
Hey, express, express. Hey, express, express. 11. Go.
Now they'll throw it with Ryan. That's complete right around the 8. And they work this near the 5. He'll be stopped at the 6. And now before this first down play, we're going to get a timeout here, as the clock will stop with 18 seconds to go in the first half.
Hey, express, express. 21. Let's go.
They'll try and run it there on first and goal. And he stopped immediately there. Now before this second down play, we'll get whistles and a timeout, as they'll stop it with 14 seconds to go in this first half. They come up here with another shot from the 6-yard line, and it's second and goal now.
We got 3.
From the gun, it's Ryan. And this is caught for a Falcon touchdown. Tevin Coleman, as the first half is winding down, and the Falcons are in for 6.
That touchdown gives them a touchdown lead before they attempt the extra point. What a great way to end the half.
Yeah, great job to put themselves in front, and now see on the sideline, special teams defense scrambling, saying we want to preserve this for the final moments of this second quarter. Here's Bosher to kick it away. And this will be a touchback as that sails over the end line. The 49er offense now making their way out onto the field. And with time quickly fading here in the second quarter, not sure how aggressively, offensively they want to play this.
I think we'll find out just how much they trust their guys in this situation if they decide to take a shot.
Hey, guys, check me out.
180. Black 80.
Trying to shake off the interception of the last drive. He'll look to throw. No gain, and it's second down.
That's it. Big hit.
We have hit halftime. Still 2 more quarters to go. We'll take a timeout. We'll be back after this. You're watching the NFL, and it's on EA Sports. It's in the game. Okay, Coach, appreciate it. A 1-touchdown game here as we get set to resume play in the second half.
The 49ers will be kicking off. Number 17, waiting to return.
The Falcons back to receive. They've got the lead, and they'll get this football as the second half gets underway. And that'll carry over the back line of the end zone for a touchback. So out come the Falcons now. They have the lead. Now they'll be looking to extend that lead.
And this is where I enjoy talking about one of my favorite subjects, tendency breakers, or counters as I also like to call them. You've done things in a certain way in the first half, and they've had the ability to see what you've done. They're going to make their adjustments. So guess what? You adjust yourself and try and stay ahead of the pace because you are looking for some separation in this ball game.
The adjustment to the adjustment.
Without a doubt. Show them one thing, hit them with something else.
Switch.
Third quarter starts with a run by Freeman. And he will lose yardage and be backed up to the 24. That's going to go as a loss of a yard, and it'll be second down. After the loss to start out, here's 2nd and 11.
Hey, Tuesday. Hey, Tuesday.
Now Ryan on 2nd down. Caught on the right side by Jones. Ryan to Jones, the Falcon connection there for a first.
As if he didn't have enough to think about on that route, the comeback route, coming back to the football and catching it, decided to make sure he toe-tapped and kept himself in bounds.
And that was spectacular, but on the comeback route, maybe a little easier to deal with the sideline since you've got better vision of it?
I think that's a great point because you should know exactly where you're going and know how much space you have and make sure you get your feet down. But, yeah, coming back to the football, I like it. Good vision.
And he'll get up near the 45. They'll spot it at the 44. 5 yards on the catch there, brings up 2nd down. And, boy, they had high praise for this rookie receiver. We asked the coaches about him, didn't they?
They certainly did, and obviously they liked his measurables, otherwise they wouldn't have brought him onto the team. Height, weight, speed, all of that. But how about what they really said? Competitiveness. That's what they really liked about him. The way he goes after the football, competes for it, and decides when it's in the air, it's his and only his.
Jones has it. And he's going to get it down to the 33-yard line here. 5 yards on the catch there, brings up 2nd down. And now the 49ers signal for a timeout defensively. It's just their first, so 2 remaining as they burn one here in this 3rd quarter.
Let's go.
Clock showing 90 seconds to go in the 3rd.
Strong left.
On 2nd down, Freeman. And inside the 20 before he's brought down. It's a pickup of 16 there, and it'll lead to a new set of downs.
I got him.
Now, this is an example of breaking down a defense because on a lot of these runs, he's getting past the point of attack, and guess what he's doing? Forcing the secondary guys to have to make a lot of tackles.
Check.
Here's Freeman. And able to get him down, but he does reach the 5. Another nice gain, 13 yards that time, and another first down.
Looks to me like maybe there's a little attrition setting in with this drive, because when you see that type of a run, I get the feeling the defense getting a little bit tired.
And that's the last thing they need, especially when they look up at the scoreboard. And he'll get this one back to the 5-yard line, but no further than that. They'll say no gain on the play, and it'll be 2nd and goal.
Perfectly designed blitz right there. They took that one from the grease board to the field because they were able to free up their linebacker to get into the backfield and spill the play.
They give it to him running left, and he'll go down, and that will do it for the 3rd quarter of action. Back now here in Santa Clara. It's the Falcons. They've got the football. They've got the lead as we get set to start the 4th. The San Francisco defense trying to hold tough again. This is 3rd and goal.
12.
It's Coleman here. And this one will wind up with him losing yardage. Back to the 4-yard line. That'll make it 4th down after a loss of 1.
This offense bent the defense in their long drive downfield, but once they got within sight of the goal line, the defense went to don't break mode and is stiffened.
Freeman unable to get free here on 4th and goal. And his 49er defense stands tall down near the goal line.
3 down. Hey, check.
120. 180.
42's mine.
Now it's the fullback. This is Juszczyk. And he's able to get this across the 10 before being taken down. Trying to escape the shadow of their goalpost. That helped 10 yards. First down. So a little more space to work with here from the 13 on 1st and 10.
Right there.
120.
Here's Garoppolo on 1st and 10. The tight end Kittle has it on the left side. And able to break one tackle, but then quickly brought down. But a nice little gain. A good pickup there. 8 yards on the first down completion.
Tight end to the right, boy. Tight end to the right. Move.
Time for a break. We'll come back for the electrifying conclusion after this.
Hey, gun.
Ringo. Silver.
180. Black 80.
Hey, Mike's 45. 42, Mike's 42. Hey, defense, let's go.
Garoppolo to throw on second down. Oh, the ball comes out on the hit, but they'll say it's incomplete. He's unable to complete it there, and just not the game that you would expect from him. He's been off the mark really start to finish.
Yeah, it makes you wonder what exactly is going on. Is he a little bit dinged up here, or is he just off just by a bit? Maybe he can get it back in this situation. He'll need to.
After the incompletion, here now, 3rd and 2.
Everyone's got 180.
Now the Georgia Southern uses Jarek McKinnon. And he's able to pick up the first down here before he goes down at the 26.
That's it, baby.
5 yards is the pickup there as that extends this drive. The drive continues as they search for a tying touchdown. Here's 1st and 10.
180. Say hot.
Back to throw. And it's a short one here, complete to the tight end. And he's able to get out to the 32, brought down there. A gain of 6 there on 1st.
Partner, they're clearly saving those timeouts, but they still have to run.
And he lost the football. And the Falcons say they have it, they do. And they were hoping to get down there, get the score, and get this thing into overtime. How deflating.
Absolutely. I mean, let's face it, heartbreaking. They had an opportunity, had a chance, and probably were feeling pretty good about what was going on, and that was taken away from them by their own mistake.
Yep, the opportunity squashed. And what is going on here? Are they serious? 1st down, and they're in punt formation. And the 49ers getting set to trot out there. They're down here in a 1-score game, but the time, it's a factor, but it's not a huge factor right now, is it?
It's really not, because this amount of time gives them a chance to run their offense, to go through play sequences. And this is what they work on every week in practice. Usually on a Friday, they go over this type of a situation, late game situation. What are we going to do when we have the opportunity? They've called these plays a bunch of times. Now's their chance to execute them.
Yeah, they have the opportunity now. Here's the execution. So after the incompletion, 2nd and 10 from the 22.
Tight ends on the Ringo. Tight ends on the Ringo.
11.
They'll look to throw. Over the middle to Kittle, complete. And they're going to get this beyond the 40 before he's taken down. A good pickup there of 20 yards. Obviously a big 1st down right there.
Yeah, they still got a...
And he can't get a throw away. He's taken down.
Now, how about that? Rattled by a big play on the previous snap, they bounce back, and that's exactly what they needed defensively, getting a big play of their own.
Sack, baby!
Now, following the sack, they'll look to make amends on a 2nd down and 17.
180.
He'll look to throw. And, oh, a crusher there as it's intercepted. Picked up by Keanu Neal. And they will set up shop in enemy territory at the 42-yard line. Well, and I saw the pressure coming at him. That just looked problematic. Hit him as he threw it, and the interception ensued.
Let me pay homage to the man who stood in this spot before. He always talked about how much pressure is in the face of a guy, and can he step into a throw. And when you can't do that, oftentimes interceptions result.
The San Francisco offense getting their last-minute instructions before they take over here. One possession game, time very much a factor. How does the offense handle this situation?
Well, in a lot of cases, they should be somewhat relaxed. And I know that's counterintuitive because this is a pressure situation. But this is Friday practice every week of the season. You go over this situation, having to go downfield, limited timeouts, got to get out of bounds and keep the drive going and set yourself up. Defensively, you can't just lay back.
He can't get a throw off. He's taken down. What a huge play at this point in the game. And now a timeout defensively by the Falcons. It's just their first. They've got 2 more to use here in the final stages. Work to be done here on 2nd and 16 after the sack.
Right. He's tight right here. He's tight on the right. Tight
11, 11. By 20! By 20!
He's back to throw. And that is incomplete. Down to 15 seconds now.
There's definitely contact there, but it's the fourth quarter of a kind of tight game, and sometimes the officials just say, let them play. Kind of like your mom used to with you and your brothers. Just take the broom to you and send you out to the backyard and tell you to settle it yourselves.
I like that, yeah. There was contact. I don't know, like you said, enough to warrant the flag. It was close, though. Now it's Breida. And they'll take him down at the 31-yard line. And a timeout is called. So now you're looking at probably just one final play from back in their own territory, and they're going to need a miracle. Down 7, and they've got to go for it here on 4th down.
Tight left.
And we've got a timeout. 9 seconds remaining. One score down. Here we go. They're going to go for it here on 4th down.
Tight end right.
180! 180!
3 down. Odd.
13! 13!
Mike 42.
Set hunt!
42, check. Mike 42.
11, 11, 11, 11.
Now Garoppolo. Gotta have this one. Pressure brought in, and the Falcons get there for the sack. And the clock will now stop as a timeout is called with 5 seconds left.
Gun.
We got 4.
Hey, let's go. Gun.
Motion.
Ready, set.
Oh, look at this. Ryan's going to throw it. This week caught inside the 10. And they do get him down, but not before he's able to slip it inside the 5-yard line. The storyline in this one, Charles, no doubt the number 0. Zilch, nada. A shutout so hard to do in the NFL.
It really is, and what an accomplishment, because you feel that not just on the defensive side, but as a full team. There's a lot of pride that goes into shutting out an opponent. And how about that 0 on the scoreboard for them, going along with those zeros in the time column too.
EA Sports coverage of the NFL brings us to the heart of Texas and the very wonderful AT&T Stadium in Arlington. Obviously, they do everything big here in Dallas, and the introduction to the Cowboys, no exception. They're set for football in Big D as their guys will do battle with the Atlanta Falcons. Here's Bosher to kick it away. That'll be taken in the end zone. And he'll elect not to return this one, so they'll bring it out to the 25 on the touchback.
It's coming now. Hey, we go wide 80.
42.
Wide 80.
Yeah, let's get a sack lunch.
Here's the first carry for Ezekiel Elliott. And he is going to lose yardage here. It's a loss of 2 there, bringing up second down.
Nice play right there to stop him behind the line, but I want to see how this defense continues to play him here in the first half.
Yeah, we know. You know better than I. He has the ability to take over a game, so what do?
Yeah, I think you have to make sure that you bottle him in at varying levels, because if you crowd everyone to the line of scrimmage, if he breaks through, it's nothing but room to run.
Tight end's right.
Here we go, 46, 46.
49, check 49, check 49.
Here we go, 46. 46, 46.
On second down, Elliott. And he'll get this one up to the 26. It's a gain of maybe 3, but it's going to leave him with still about 8 or 9 to go on third down.
Sometimes your philosophies get challenged at times you don't want them to. They did try to stick to the running game on the first 2 plays. Didn't amount to much.
And now facing a 3rd and long at the outset of this drive.
Here we go, wide 80.
Stay on the slot, stay on the slot.
So that'll back him up 5. After the delay, they're backed up even further for 3rd and long.
Single receiver. Hey, you're on an island over there. Single receiver.
Here we go. Wide 80. 26.
Out of the gun. Here's Prescott. And the Falcons get there. The Falcons get the sack. Down he goes. And when you go 5 wide like they just did there, you can't really max protect, can you?
No, you cannot. What you're hoping is that by going 5 wide, you're forcing the defense into coverage. And if you do that, you get a chance to find some people downfield. But if they audible themselves and go into a blitz, then it's got to happen right now,
or
very
lights
quickly,
out.
or exactly right. Turn them out. That play's over.
The punt team now as this one sent away. That's pulled in at the 32. 12 yards on the return that time. And out will come the offense as they take over. Ryan and the Falcons now come up 1st and 10 at their own 43.
Gun. Get up. Gun. 20.
Now it's Ryan. He completes it to Julio Jones. And taking it across midfield and just shy of the 40. 16 yards right off the bat and a 1st down.
Too easy. Good job, baby. Good job. Good stop, D. Stop. Man left. Alert. 3 down.
The first carry for the tailback, Devontae Freeman. They're not going to get him. Touchdown, Falcons. Devontae Freeman, 41 yards. And the Falcons have taken the early lead.
I know we don't talk about it enough, but the intelligence level of the guys up front blocking, the offensive linemen, maybe the smartest guys in football overall. Add in a little bit of athleticism and a whole lot of toughness, you've got a lot to deal with, don't you?
That's why the guys in the backfield get some really nice Christmas gifts, right?
If they're smart, they do.
Bryant tacks on the extra point, and it's now a 7-0 game. Here's Bosher to kick it away. That's fielded in the end zone. Solid return, pretty good field position. They'll start at the 32-yard line. The Cowboys offense heading back out and ready to go again. They punted last time they had it. What steps, Charles, you think they have to take to make sure they don't do that again?
Well, let's just go to the football 101, the trade expression 101. One first down. 5, 6, 7 yards on first down.
Pressure from his right, and he goes down hard, flat on his back.
Now, we talk about players blitzing all the time. I often laugh and sometimes call it just straight-ahead pursuit. What a running start right back to the backfield for him.
Yeah, it really didn't give anybody a chance to get up there and stop it.
No, I mean, that's really, really difficult. You're asking a whole lot anyway, but when he gets that kind of a start and comes through clean, oftentimes the advantage definitely goes to the defensive player.
Check Mike 54. Mike 54. Let's pick it up.
A second down throw for Prescott, providing a safety valve here. That's complete. And they'll bring him down at the 27-yard line. Give him 2 yards on that play. And they're going to face an uphill battle here on 3rd and long.
Shakedown, baby. Yeah.
41's the will. Here we go. 180. 180.
From the shotgun, it's Prescott. And that is incomplete. Robert Alford that time on the great coverage. That makes them now 0 for 2 here in the first quarter on 3rd down conversions.
And now they'll look to their defense because they need them to step up so they don't fall further behind here in the early going.
He gets this one away, and boy, it's another boomer. This is taken at about the 14. Great blocking, nearly sprung in there. 28-yard return. And the offense will take over with a new set of downs. And here now come the Falcons. Looking to duplicate that first drive, the one that got him that 7-0 lead.
Of course they would. I mean, look, they're on the road. So getting the 7-0 lead was huge for them, right? Imagine getting that 2 touchdowns on the road, taking the crowd out of the game. It'd be ideal.
Ryan will bring the Falcons up now, 1st and 10 at their own 42. Ryan. Nowhere to escape, and he goes down. Malik Collins. Breaking through to get him for a loss of 7.
I know there'll be a little bit of criticism there because they went right back to the air after the huge pickup and end up getting sacked. That's often a play that you make if you feel like you've got momentum on your side.
Unfortunately, the O-line failed to hold up to try to keep that momentum going. The left side completion to Jones. And able to rip off a big chunk of yardage before being dropped inside the 40. A good pickup there, 26 yards. So here's a 1st and 10 at the 38.
Got it. Like 25. Wait.
They'll throw on 1st down to Bryant. Throw right side caught by Ridley. And here he'll be brought down a little shy of the 35 at the 36. Give him a couple on the catch. It's 2nd and 8.
One thing you're hoping for when you run drag routes, You're able to hit a receiver in stride, and he can pick up a lot of yardage after the catch. But in this situation, the defense was effective, able to stop him before he could get a good head of steam going.
And they'll get this one to about the 20-yard line. Our first chance in the red zone for the Falcons now. 1st and 10 right at the 20. From the red zone now, they'll look to throw. Swings it out to the flat for Freeman. And all the way down inside the 5 to the 4. 17 more yards on that one as they keep the drive rolling.
We can talk all we want about football being a game of strength and brawn. It's also a game of mismatches, and they're trying to create one there. Getting it to their back out of the backfield to make a bigger play.
As we often say, get it to him in space, let him use his leg.
Yeah, if he can get a matchup against a linebacker or maybe a defensive...
And he'll take it into the end zone. Touchdown, Atlanta. Devontae Freeman. He scored on the ground and through the air. And the Falcons will extend their lead.
In your face.
Here's Bryant for the extra point. Bryant's extra point up and good. And it's now 14-0. Here's Bosher to kick it away. Now the Cowboys offense heads back onto the field. Already down 2 touchdowns here in the first half. This becomes a pretty important drive, doesn't it?
It certainly does, and a lot of the teams script plays. We know that, right? They have a script to start the ball game, and typically those scripts go between 12 and 24, 25 plays. Down 2 touchdowns early, probably not very deep into their script. I think that they'll stay with it. I don't think they'll abandon it just yet and try and generate some offense on this drive.
Anything, at least 3 points, get that 0 off the board. A false start backs them up 5, 1st and 15.
What do you think? What do you think?
After the penalty, he'll get about 3 as he's taken down at the 23.
One thing to keep in mind, partner, especially in the second half, when you've got a running back of this size, of these dimensions, I can just tell you, attrition does set in for a defense because you're excited about hitting him in the first half. Maybe not so much in the second half, and some of these shorter games turn into bigger runs later.
Looking to throw, Prescott, and he takes a shot on the release as this will be incomplete.
I tell you, Brandon, this defense is playing with some confidence. Haven't allowed a point yet. Flying to the football. I'm telling you, it's almost 11 to the ball on every snap. Another nice job there to force an incompletion.
An incomplete pass on that last play, and that means they'll need to come up with something here on 3rd down.
He's not going anywhere.
Here we go. Wide 8.
Single, slot.
What do you think? What do you think?
Prescott from the gun. And this is going to be incomplete. Good coverage that time by the linebacker, Deion Jones.
Not only was the call spot on, how about the execution of that defense right there? The zone was absolutely locked up tight. He was trying to force it in there on 3rd down.
But if there's a time to force it, he felt like he needed to make a play, right?
Yeah, exactly right. 3rd down, you got to try and find something. There's nothing available there.
He rifles one that's intercepted. Picked up by Deion Jones, the linebacker. And they'll start with great field position at the 41-yard line.
Let's go.
Good job.
12.
Check.
54, Sam.
Go.
After the interception, here's Ryan. Drops it off for Coleman. And they'll be inside the 35 now at the 34-yard line. Give him 7 on the play, and it'll be 2nd down.
So many times you hear today's NFL described as a space game. Get your best players into space with the football in their hands. That's why sometimes you swing it out to your runner.
And down he goes. They sack him back right around the 41-yard line. Jamarcus Lawrence in there to sack him for a loss of 6.
20. Gun, gun, gun! Get up!
Dash, dash!
Hey, rip lance, rip lance, rip lance! No, Eddie, sit down!
Off the play fake to Freeman. It's Ryan.
I got one!
He'll rifle this one deep right side. And he's got his star receiver. It's Jones for the Falcon touchdown. Julio Jones, 41 yards. And the Falcons will add on to their lead. Bryant now to tack on the extra point. Bryant tacks on the extra point, and that makes the score 21-0. Here's Bosher to kick it away. This will be taken to the back of the end zone. And the decision to bring it out is going to cost him about 7 yards all told as he's taken down back shy of the 20. So out come the Cowboys now as their offense gets set to take over. And some dangerous territory. You're already down 3 scores. A 3-and-out here or an inability to put any points up. This one might be over by half. And he can't get rid of it. He's taken down.
No doubt that's a very good play defensively right there because you've always got to be aware that he can take off and make a big play with his legs. How about the way they were able to contain him? That also tells me the coverage was excellent downfield.
Here we go. 180.
Check, 42's the mic.
Here we go, 46, 46.
Second down, Prescott. And he'll be taken down, but they've got this one up to the 35-yard line.
Nice hit, boy.
First target, first catch, and a first down.
Double tight, guys.
When you struggle on offense, you're looking for anything possible to get you going.
Here we go.
Sometimes you do it like basketball teams that don't normally press. You put a press on, bring people to life, make them move a little bit quicker. Maybe that'll help them as they head towards the half.
Here we go, 46. 46.
Prescott on first down. And it pops free. The collision there jarred the ball loose and brings up second down. Well, partner, after the conference championship games, there was a lot of talk about the overtime rules, understandably so. Do you think that anything needs to be changed in the NFL overtime situations?
I don't think so. And you got to remember, I'm an old corner, right? So here's the deal on it. The NFL jumped into popularity with an overtime game. The Baltimore Colts being the New York Giants. Back in, what was it, 1959, 58, 59? That's when the NFL really came into prominence. And it was sudden death. Allen Amici, the Colts got the ball. They scored. No one talked about anything, but boy, what an exciting game. As time went on, people started talking about fairness. So the overtime rule finally got changed. If you score first with a touchdown, the game's over. Otherwise, you keep playing. I think that's pretty cool. And in our 2 championship games this year, we had overtime in both. Tom Brady and the Patriots won the toss, went downfield, scored a touchdown, ball game. Drew Brees and the Saints won the coin toss, threw an interception. The Rams kicked the field goal and won. Defense still exists if you care to play it.
And almost picked off. I guess the good news for them now, it's 4th down.
And nearly another interception there. That would have been 2 drives in a row with a pick. He's got to start taking care of the ball way better than what we're seeing.
Interestingly, that throw was probably worse than the one he threw the interception on last drive, but fell incomplete.
Hey, here we go.
On 4th, they do snap it to Prescott. Forced out to his left. And this is going to be incomplete. Boy, a curious decision to go for it. Doesn't pan out. And the Falcons will take control of the football in great field position. On first down, Ryan. And he can't escape the pressure. Ryan goes down. Malik Collins
21.
in there to pick up his 2nd sack now of the afternoon.
54, Sam. Gun!
Back and go full strength.
A fake to Freeman. Now it's Ryan. It's a loss of 7. And now it's 3rd down. Need something from deep in the bag of tricks here after first and second down went backwards.
21.
It's third and very long.
48 to Mike. Come to my world.
Gun.
Come to my world.
Hey, express. Hey, oh, right hash. Look out!
Tackles.
Play action. Ryan. Looking deep for Julio. That's caught inside the 20. And he makes it all the way down to the 13-yard line.
Gun.
A big play there just before halftime. 44 yards.
21. Gun. Hey, wait. 21. Let him go.
From the red zone now, here's Ryan on first down. Going underneath, it's Coleman. And he is into the end zone for a Falcon touchdown. Matt Ryan now 3 first-half touchdown passes. And the Falcons will extend their lead. Here's Bryant for the extra point. Bryant's extra point up and good. And the route is on here in this first half.
Atlanta will kick this one off. Number 27, waiting to return.
Here's Bosher to kick it away. Here's the Dallas offense now heading back out onto the field. Typically down in the first half, I might say, oh, you at least need a field goal out of this drive, but they're down to the point where they need a touchdown, don't they?
Yeah, normally, you know me. You've been around me for a while now, right?
Unfortunately.
I'm sorry about that. But normally, I'm the one preaching patience.
Yeah.
You know, take your time. First half, you still got a chance. I think they're out of patience here. This has to be a drive that gets a touchdown. So if you're the play caller, you're going to that portion of the sheet that says big-time plays, specials, anything you can use to get yourself back into it.
To throw is Prescott. And that will be incomplete. 4 ticks left here on the clock. Intended that time for Cooper, and that'll bring up second down. Line of scrimmage, again the 25, second and 10.
There we go. Wide in. 26.
Final play of the half. Prescott buying time to his left. He's going to go deep for Beasley. And that's caught inside the 35. And he is finally out of bounds, but not before taking it down inside the 30. So we have reached halftime now with the visiting Falcons out on top. As we are off to Orlando now to check in with Jonathan Coachman at our EA Sports Halftime Report. Coach, the Falcons back to receive. They've got the lead, and they'll get this football as the second half gets underway. And this will not be returnable. It's out of the back of the end zone for a touchback. Now the Falcons offense gets ready to head back onto the field. They built a good first half lead. Now they have a chance to add on to it.
And what I'm thinking is that the offensive staff spent the entire halftime just working with them on here's what we think they're going to do to attack us in the second half. Nice first half that we've had, guys, but be prepared for some change-ups. We're going to see them when we kick off in the second half.
See how they handle any adjustments that might be made defensively. And he's able to plow forward up to about the 29, just shy of the 30. 5 yards on the carry there, and it leaves him with third and about 6 yards to go.
Out
of the gun, it's Ryan. He's going to flip one out here to his running back. And he's able to get out to the 32, brought down there. Call it a gain of 3, and that's going to make it fourth down.
Sam, watch Sam. Check Mike, 54.
Hey, express, express.
Watch the run, watch the run. 54's Mike, 54's Mike. Check, check, watch 54, watch 54.
Gun, gun, gun.
Watch the run, watch the run, watch
Gun, gun. Left.
He's coming.
They'll indeed go for it with Ryan. He's got some room. And out across midfield down to the 45. Not often do fourth down conversions result in 23 yards, but that's the case here. First down. Now Ryan on first down. Throwing for his running back, and he's got it complete. And he's going to get this down near the 30-yard line. 15 more there, and they're on a roll. It's another first down. Whatever the discussions were at halftime to try to slow down this offense, it has not worked to this point.
Yeah, I have a vision right now of everything that was discussed at the half just being torn in shreds or being erased out of the Microsoft Surface tablets because none of it is working. They are really locked in on offense.
Yeah, he'll get about 6 there as he takes this one down to the 24-yard line.
Third quarter and you've got the lead. You're not ready to go into that 4-minute offense to close the game out. The running game can really benefit your team.
Coleman now. And he'll take it down here just shy of the 15 at the 16-yard line. It goes as a gain of 8, and it moves the chains.
They're trying to show that they can run the ball and protect this lead. Give it to the backs, play a little bit of keep away, don't you think?
That's probably a good philosophy at this point, going to make that defense stand up and stop him. That's going to be caught at the 10-yard line. And now they're inside the 10 as he's brought down at the 9. 7 yards, the pickup on the pitch and catch.
Fired that one in there, able to make a connection on a nice in-route.
With those and he'll take it into the end zone. Touchdown, Atlanta. Matt Ryan connecting on his 4th touchdown pass of the ball game. And the Falcons continue to pour it on. Bryant tacks on the extra point, and the lead will swell by 1 more.
Atlanta is lined up for the kickoff. Number 27, back to return.
Here's Bosher to kick it away. That'll be taken in the end zone. And all that worked, but he stopped where he ultimately would have been, and he's simply taken a knee, and that's the 25-yard line. The Cowboys offense now, they head out for their first possession of the second half. They trail offense, first time to touch the ball in quarter 3, and we'll see what they can do.
And I can't wait to see what they have planned because some teams script to start a half. Other teams just go, okay, these are the sequence of plays we want to run. These things worked well for us. And sometimes they throw in that big chunk play right away.
Shocker.
Try and get after them early and try and create a big play to give themselves some momentum.
We'll see what they have up their sleeve. Play clock down to 0, and this is not the way to start a drive. They were trying to create some space to run. They created the penalty.
And you work on it so much. You work on it so hard. But it's tough to simulate game speed in practice. That often runs you into a penalty.
So a little bit of a stiffer challenge now. 1st and 15 following the delay of game.
Hey, we got 3 down.
Hey, here we go. 180.
42's the mic, 42's the mic. I'm here all day. I'm here all day.
And now again, the play clock's going to run out on him. And that'll be accepted, of course, and that moves him back 5. Successive penalties have them looking now at a 1st and 20.
Tight, double tight. Hey, boys, we got 4 down.
Here we go. 180. Here we go. Get down.
Now Prescott.
Oh, you got deep?
And it's incomplete. Took a shot, couldn't connect. Well, while we have a second here, how about we get bold and make a couple Super Bowl predictions?
Hey, why not? Let's go ahead and put ourselves on the spot.
Just more fodder for the angry people. What do you think? Who's going to win it? Who's going to be the MVP?
Well, my prediction for this one is the New England Patriots win the football game. They win it 32-30. The MVP, the McCourty twins, Jason and Devin. They both get 2 interceptions apiece, and instead of splitting the trophy, they wrestle for it right there in the 50-yard line post-game because, you know, sibling rivalries, one always wants the upper hand.
Okay, that's bold. I'll go Rams on a Greg Zuerlein 44-yarder from the right hash as time expires.
44.
MVP Todd Gurley, 2 touchdowns, 1 catching, 1 rushing.
I like that. You don't like the McCourty thing, though, do you?
No, I do like that. If that happens, you're Nostradamus.
There you go.
That catch good for 5. It's 3rd down. The Cowboys on 3rd down. Not good. 0 for 4 thus far. This will be 3rd and 15.
Here we go. Going to 54. 180. Here we go. 180. 26.
Prescott now. Oh, hit as he throws there. Incomplete. Another drive comes and goes. Still nothing on the scoreboard.
Yeah, and when the second half comes, you know, it's real easy to get discouraged and wonder if you're ever going to get things started. But you just got to fight through it. Got to keep pounding away.
Out now comes the Cowboys punter as the drive goes backwards, so he's on to punt it away. Taken in at the 22. It's a nifty return of 29 yards. And the Falcons are set up well to begin their drive as it'll begin in enemy territory already. Now the Falcons offense, they get ready to head back out here. And last time out, another touchdown, and I think there may be some empty seats around here by the time the 4th quarter comes around.
Yeah, I have to agree with you because this was just about decided. But you know who benefits from all those empty seats? You and me, trying to get to the airport.
That's
the road
true.
to be fairly clear
That is
by the
one
time we have to
positive.
leave the booth.
Not a big window to throw. Coverage wasn't too bad there.
Yeah, they had him under wraps pretty well, but somehow able to muscle his way over it and catch the ball.
Now it's Ryan. And a big loss here as he's taken down. Randy Gregory able to get in and run him down for what will be a loss of 15 yards.
Wait!
3rd and long. It's Ryan. Now he'll dump it underneath to his running back, complete. And he'll get it down here to the 43. It's a 15-yard pickup, but it'll lead to a 4th down. Ryan, instead of throwing it downfield, Charles, they just tried to dump it underneath there. You like the call?
I do. I think it's a high percentage play because you get the completion. And what you're counting on is your back to use his legs and his elusiveness to make people miss and pick up the 1st down. In this case, it didn't happen.
They toss to Freeman. And he will be brought down at about the 6-yard line. Another big gainer that time. This one goes for 19 yards.
Some big plays in the passing game on this drive, and here's one out of the running game. So the passing game loosening things up. Now there's room to roam.
From the gun, it's Ryan. And he's got it. And he is into the end zone for a Falcon touchdown. Matt Ryan now with 5 touchdown passes on the afternoon. And the Falcons add on. Bryant now to tack on the extra point. Bryant's extra point up and good. And that will extend this big lead. Here's Bosher to kick it away.
Number 27, back 8 to return.
That'll be taken in the end zone. And he'll be brought down at the 23, make it the 24-yard line. And now here come the Cowboys. These guys had to punt last time. It has not been a very fruitful game offensively thus far. They haven't even made a trip to the red zone.
And I know that everyone's going crazy on that sideline because that drives you berserk to come off the field, not really move the ball well. As you said, not even get to the red zone, let alone not even put points on the board. They got to just take a deep breath.
Pressure brought in, and the Falcons get there for the sack.
Pressure can come from all over when you're plotting a defensive strategy. On that particular play, it just came from the outside.
Back now in Arlington. And this is a blowout so far as we get set for the fourth quarter. A very one-sided affair. Got to imagine the pass rush will be equally intense here on second down following the sack. It's 2nd and 18. Boy, and now they can't even get a play off. He didn't even try to signal for a timeout, so they must have not been aware of the numbers.
I think he lost track of the time left in the play clock and probably was trying to read the defense and trying to figure out which play to run and just lost track, and it cost him.
Hey, we got 3, we got 3.
Here we go, wide 80.
Despite some fast footwork, he's still wrangled down shy of the 15. They get 2 yards back, but they're going to need a lot more than that here on third down.
Get him, boy.
Definitely too early to panic, but that is his 4th carry of the game, and collectively has in total 10 yards. So maybe there's no panic, but maybe some concern.
Yeah, and maybe a little concern up front because they're not giving him any space right now.
Watch the twist.
Here we go, wide 80.
Shit.
Hustle.
3rd and long for Prescott. Steps away. And he's going to be taken down. Sacked back at the 2. Duke Riley in there to drop him for a loss of 10. And it'll be 4th and long. Out now comes the Cowboys punter. He's been one of their few bright spots so far. And he'll just punch it out of there, and it's not a great kick. 31 yards on the punt there. And this offense, they're going to have excellent field position. They take over with a 1st and 10 on the short side of the field. Here are the Falcons as their offense heads back onto the field. With this lead and the football, things obviously looking good, but maybe Yeah, you've taught me this before. Maybe this is where the defense is hoping that the offense helps them preserve that shutout that they've got going.
And it has to be in the minds of the offense that they know how rare it is to get a shutout. So take care of them, protect them, take care of the ball, move it downfield, run the clock down. You don't want your defense to have to go on the field again the rest of the game. Reward them.
They run. Devontae Freeman. And inside the 20 before he's brought down. That one good for 16, and the drive will continue.
When a coaching staff sees their team run the ball this successfully in the fourth quarter, they're really excited because you can plan for a running game all you want and want to press that advantage when you get it. But for the most part, it's a little bit of a surprise. And right now, they've got to keep that going, want to continue to grind out the clock because it's definitely in their favor at this stage of the game. Can they close the game out and continue to do exactly what we just saw there, and that's run the football.
On 1st and 10, it's Ryan. Got his man complete over the middle. It's Ortiz. And they work this near the 5. He'll be stopped at the 6. A nice pickup of 14, and it moves the stick, sets up a 1st and goal. They'll try and run for it on 1st and goal. And he gets him a little bit closer. He takes it from the 6 inside the 5 to the 4. At this stage of the game, with the score where it is, the key here is stay in bounds, and he did just that. Not by a huge margin, but he stayed in.
And those come up in what we like to call winning edge meetings. The things that you have to do, late game situations, kicking situations, doesn't matter what it is, the things you have to do to win a game, and that comes up in that meeting, then you practice it, they've got to be happy to see it executed, being able to stay in bounds and work the clock.
He's going to get it running right, and they are going to score again. Yet another touchdown as they just add to their totals. So another score there, and often you talk about the 3 phases of the game. Defense, offense, special teams. It's been a clean sweep in this one, hasn't it?
It certainly has. They've been pretty dominant throughout this game. And privately, the head coach will add a 4th phase. That's the coaching. And he'll tell the ownership that as he tries to negotiate a new contract off of this win.
They are looking strong here in the 4th quarter. Now Ryan leading the Falcons up to go for 2.
Double tight. Hey, guys, check me out.
20.
We gotta stand up over there.
From the shotgun, Ryan. And this is going to be caught. So add 2 more to the lead as they continue to pour it on here in the 4th. Here's Bosher to kick it away. The offense for the Cowboys now working their way back onto the field. These guys had to punt their last possession, and that's become too familiar of a refrain. Too many of these drives just wound up going nowhere.
Well, you know how in baseball when the pitcher gets a base hit and he's on base, they bring his jacket out to him to keep him warm? Well, a lot of times the punter goes to the sideline, puts on sweatpants or a wrap over his leg to keep it warm. He might need a massage from the trainer right now from all the work he's getting.
3 down.
There we go. Wide, ain't it?
42, Mike, 42. Stay with your man.
26.
On 1st and 10, Prescott steps away to his left. And he can't find a receiver, and he's brought down. Duke Riley in there to get him his 2nd sack now of the afternoon.
We've been around this league for a while, and many coaches never pull their starting quarterback, almost no matter the situation. In this case, though, I think he's got to make a decision. He's taking a pretty good beating out there.
Yeah, and with the deficit, maybe not wanting to risk an injury. So after the sack, they'll come up on a still manageable 2nd and 13. And now with the play clock winding down, Jason Garrett opts to take a timeout. It's just their first. They'll be down to 2 remaining as we step aside here in the 4th quarter. So following the sack, they'll try to change their fortune here on 2nd and 13.
Hey, we go wide 80.
Mike 42, check. Mike 42.
Wide 86. Wide 86.
Out of the gun, here's Prescott. Looking for Cooper, and it's intercepted. Ricardo Allen with a pick. And they'll start out with great field position at the 47-yard line in enemy territory.
Double tight. 3 down. Hey,
280. Black 25.
They'll throw on first down with Ryan. Looking downfield for Jones. Oh, a ball batted in the air, and now it's intercepted. Picked off by the linebacker, Jalen Smith. And a big turnover there as his guys will get the football back. Time for a break. Back to finish it off on EA Sports after this.